Call the planning commission meeting to order for November 17th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Crompton?
Here.
Mr. Heath?
Here.
Mr. Kella?
Here.
Mr. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Here.
Mr. Dillon?
Here. Are there any questions on the previous minutes from any commissioners? Seeing none, do I have a motion for the minutes approval?
Motion, if there's no additions or corrections, I move the minutes be accepted as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you seconded. Roll call, please.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye. We got you.
First order of business is citizens to be heard on agenda items. This section is for anyone that would like to speak on agenda items. Can speak for 4 minutes. Please be aware that we do allow you to speak when the case is called as well. But if there is anyone that would like to speak on an agenda item at this time, they can do so.
We have two people. Come to the mic.
Want to come up?
You said you wanted to speak?
You want to?
Swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Did you say your name and address?
Tamara Barnes, 819 Cora Street, Joliet, Illinois, 60435.
Okay. What do you have to say?
I'm here today to address the issue of the 800 block of Cora Street. We have been having a lot of experiences with the parking, where they're parking where they're not supposed to be parked. I've been on Cora Street for almost 20 years, and we've never had to deal with any of these issues. There's residential parking on Cora. There's business parking on Ruby. We've had several tickets written, cars tagged and towed. The 800 block of Cora Street has been riddled with cars that are no longer having license plates. My car has been hit twice due to the fact that they're turning around in the alley on Cora Street to go park illegally where there are signs that says no parking, no stopping, no standing. It seems like the business parking should stay on Ruby Street, and the people who live on the 800 block should have parking. Several cars have blocked off driveways, prohibiting homeowners to leave their home. The police have been called, and by the time that they are responding, the cars have been moved. Within minutes, there's more back there. We would like to have residential parking permits on the 800 block of Cora Street due to the fact that there's several car accidents. They can't see around the parking. Sorry. We put signs up, had the lines drawn. They are parking in the parkway. People who are driving down there they took out the stop sign. They hit a gas line at the corner store. Just coming to see if you guys can help. We did what we thought we had to do and kind of running out of hope here.
I have a question for you. How is getting a permit going to make any difference?
Honestly, I feel that if we have our parking on our permit, the people that are at the corner store and every other place down in that area won't be able to park up where we are. I have to park on Center Street sometimes and come home on Cora Street.
And don't you guys have any driveways?
I have one driveway and two cars with two people living in my home. And I've been parking out front for almost 20 years now.
Okay. Thank you.
Question. So you are for the permit or you are not for the permit?
I am for the permit,
You are for the permit.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Someone else you want to come up to? You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, still.
State your name and address, ma'am.
My name is Kathleen Garthis. I live on Vetter Road at 23656 South Vetter Road. In regards to this annexation and zoning for the light industrial thing of these two properties on Vetter Road, I ask that you just deny it because the fact that we got the remaining people have been battling with Centerpoint and everything out there. we got remaining people still living over here on Vetter Road, and we would like to keep it that way. You know, there are other places that this place could have gone to build, like down Schweitzer Road where nobody's living. No, they wanna come where everybody's living and put this thing here. You know, I've been battling city council for years about the noise and disruptions of all the trucks and everything, and the fact that it's had on our life. Now they're gonna want to put this thing here, a gas station, a big gas station operation across this, nearly like across the street from me. What more left do I have to say about, you know, what do I got to do to my rights to live anymore? Because you let this thing go through, get it annexed and everything, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to live anymore. You know, the noise is bad enough out there, now I'm gonna have more noise right closer to me, trucks idling all night, lights lit up the area all night. I mean, what remaining little piece that us remaining residents have out there, we wanna keep to ourselves. We ought to have a right to reserve our rights to quality of life. Because if you let this thing get approved, I don't know how you expect us to live. And that thing is on a hill too. It's on a hill. Trucks coming out of that gas station, wanting to go south, and you have a truck coming already on Vetter Road going south. There's a hill. There's a big hill there. The truck coming out of that place, come over the top of that hill, pulling out is not gonna, people aren't gonna be able to stop fast enough. It's too hilly there. It's too dangerous to be letting this thing to be built here. I mean, these guys could have went and bought land down Schweitzer Road where nobody's living at and it's flatter. But no, I ask that you deny this, please, for the sanity of our remaining residents that are out here, please.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth.
Yes, I do.
State your name and address.
My name is Georgine Williams, and I'm at 811 Elizabeth Street, right behind Cora Street. I'm the neighborhood watch, and I help the people up there. For all the years that this has been going on, 3 years, I've had meetings down here at City Hall, met with the owner, tried to come up with some solutions. They are literally, every city ordinance is being disregarded down there. They're parked right up to Ruby Street, right over the stop sign, right over the fire hydrants. You cannot go down that way. We all know it. Do not go down Cora Street and don't go down Center Street because you won't be able to turn. The new thing is that they just beep the horn constantly. Well, that's not going to stop something coming up Ruby. And it's come to the point where it's almost impossible. You can't leave your house Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because you cannot park. One lady wants to go to church and she has to leave way early because they block all the driveways. They'll park all the way up the side, that's no parking. And that was petitioned by the residents years ago because they didn't want the kids playing out in the street. My own nephew was killed on the street when he was 5. So this is a safety issue. We've tried to work with the owner, and we just can't seem to come to any agreement with him. We're not opposed to businesses or stores, but these are our homes. And we would like to they would like to be able to park in front of their own house and know that it's safe there. I don't need cars on both sides of the street where it says no parking. They're supposed to park on Ruby Street. But because the entrance to the store is on Cora, everybody wants to park there. I've asked them, put the entrance on Ruby where it's supposed to be. Can we work some way with you so that we don't have all these people blocking our driveways and causing all the commotion down there? I have Holy Cross Church there, very busy, with a lot of cars going up Ross and Elizabeth Street. The traffic is just to a point now that there's going to be a serious accident. There have been a couple accidents down there. They knocked the stop sign over on the parkway because they park on the parkway. The street light on Center Street was hit and smashed. So for safety's sake, We would like to know that our residents at least can park on Cora Street. I've had cars towed off of there from the shop, and they leave them up there for 2 or 3 days. They don't have time to work on them, so they just plop them on Cora Street. We have pictures of them pushing a car off of Cora Street or driving them off. We've sent 61 pictures down here through the years. It covers the 3 years, not just recent. And it's starting to become a serious problem up there. So I'm asking you, please, help my people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Come on up. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
State your name and address, please.
My name is Robert Kaufman, live on 811 Cora Street, been there for over 40 years. My biggest concern about, going to this residential parking is the safety part of it. I mean, and if there was, it's so blocked off with illegally parked cars and all the way up the street. And fire hydrants are being blocked. It's a constant thing all weekend long. And if there was an emergency call, a fire, an ambulance, and they can't make it up that street, somebody may die. I mean, if it's a serious enough fire or, a serious enough medical thing or whatever. And I think something needs to be done before somebody dies, not after. And even just parking at night. I mean, you have to go there, you got to park a block away or more at night. And, that's not the safest thing to walk, when you're a block away from home. I mean, those houses were all built. Most of those houses were built during the Depression. And there's like no driveways. There's like 6 driveways on that whole block. And there's 20 some homes or something like that on the block. So something needs to be done because, like I says, it's just so unsafe. Like I says, that fire trucks a fire truck would never be able to make it up that street on a weekend during the day. It's just so clogged with parked cars. And like I said, so many of them are illegal. When I left to come to this meeting today, there was 3 cars parked illegally in the no parking zones, one in front of a fire hydrant. It's just sickening. I mean, something bad is going to happen, and I just don't want to see it happen. It used to be a nice, quiet neighborhood when I first moved in there 40-some years ago, but it's anything but that now. It's more like a raceway, like Joliet Raceway, more than it is residential street. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, Jim.
Okay, moving on, under old business, public hearing, we have none. Under old business, we have none. Under new business, public hearing, first case under there, P922, preliminary plat of Mound Road subdivision, and FP 722, final plat of Mound Road subdivision. The applicant Timber Hill Group requests that this be tabled to the December 15th Plan Commission meeting. This is in order for them to vacate some right-of-way that Public Works would like them to vacate. And so they'll bring that vacation at the same time with the preliminary and the final plat in December. Staff is in favor of this request.
Okay, can I get a motion to table P 9-22 and FP 7-22?
Motion.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye.
Next order of business is case number A1022, annexation of 23551 and 23525 South Vetter Road, classification of I-1 light industrial zoning, and approval of an annexation agreement. Under general information, the applicant Castle Holding Group LLC. Status of the applicant is owner-developer. Requested action is approval of annexation, classification of I-1 light industrial zoning, and approval of an annexation agreement. Purpose is to incorporate property into municipal Joliet for future development. The existing zoning is unincorporated Will County A1 agricultural. Location again is 23551 and 23525 South Vetter Road. Size combined is 18.1 acres. The existing land use is vacant rural residential. Under surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is undeveloped gas pipeline, County A1 agriculture. To the south is residential use, County A1 agricultural zone. To the east is floodplain and industrial IT intermodal terminal zoning. To the west is Joliet right-of-way, IT intermodal terminal, and residential County A1 agricultural. Under site history, the petitioner has submitted a special use permit request for a truck and travel plaza with a truck terminal that is scheduled to be heard by the Zoning Board of Appeals at their meeting on November 17th, 2022. That was held earlier this afternoon, and they recommended approval to the city council on that one. The parcels adjacent to the west end of these properties were previously annexed and zoned IT intermodal terminal to be used as right-of-way for the improvement and widening of Vetter Road related to the Hubbard Road Bridge project. In September 2022, the council approved a street name change to Hubbard Road for the section of Vetter Road from Schweitzer Road to Centerpoint Way. Under special information, the petitioner, Castle Holding Group LLC, proposes to annex and develop this property as a truck and travel plaza along with a truck terminal for Legacy Express Trucking. Legacy Express Trucking provides trucking and transportation services throughout the U.S. and specializes in intermodal shipments. They have been based in Joliet since 2015 and are currently located at 2800 Schweitzer Road. They operate around 200 trucks from 7 offices nationally, with around 120 trucks operating from their Joliet location. The proposed truck terminal would serve around 60 of Legacy's trucks that perform daily short-haul trips. The proposed fueling center, which will be owned by Legacy and one of their partners, is intended to serve the traffic traveling on Hubbard Road between Interstate 80 and the Intermodal Center. Conceptual site plan, and you can see it attached, includes 22 automobile fueling pumps, 12 truck fueling pumps, and a 10,000 square foot convenience store with 59 accessory automobile parking spaces. Proposed truck terminal is located behind the fueling center and includes a 25,600 square foot warehouse building with office space, 26 automobile parking spaces, and 73 truck parking stalls. Proposed 7,875 square foot building for truck repair is located to the north of the truck fueling pumps. Site plan is subject to change as the petitioner works with city staff on several components, including the number of location of curb cuts on Vetter Road. The proposed development will be required to comply with the city's non-residential design standards and landscape and screening regulations. Landscaping requirements will include a 30-foot landscape area and berm along the west property line. Stormwater detention is proposed at the east end of the property. Utilities are available and located within Vetter Road. The development will be subject to the payment in lieu of taxes, pilot requirement for all truck and trailer parking stalls. Funds collected from the pilot will be used for adjacent city street maintenance. Sewer and water connection fees and the developer's impact fee will be required. These parcels are subject to recapture fees for improvements to Vetter Road. Detachment fees have been paid for to the Elwood Fire District and the Three Rivers Public Library District. And that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have the petitioner on hand?
Good evening, Mr.
You
Chairman.
swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
So help me God.
Yeah, let's hope you got.
Nobody
He's a
wants
lawyer,
to-
you know.
Nobody wants to add that anymore.
I've done it, but I don't want to make people go, they can't add God to anything. Okay.
So I think Jim's report is accurate. We were in front of Zoning Board of Appeals. We got some work to do with staff and the council. But for our purpose here today, these are two 1 acre, 10 acre parcels that were put together, kind of surrounded by IT. So we're asking at least for this commission to recommend approval to come in under the I-1. I mean, I think that was the intent when the city went to, actually, my client owns it now, but the two previous owners from which he bought it dedicated the road, you know, the expanded part of their property for the expansion of Vetter.
Are they gonna ask later to change the classification after an I-1, after it's all built?
Well, we wouldn't qualify for IT, obviously. We could ask for I-2, I-3. We asked for I-1 so that we could work with staff and get, for a truck terminal or a gas station, we need a special use in all districts, correct? All, yeah.
Yes.
So it doesn't really matter. I'd rather ask for the I-1 and get it approved that way.
Just another question that I have. Do you see more than 2 or 3 days? You got a lot of spaces here for trucks. You see more than 2 or 3 days for a truck to be sitting in there?
So that's a little bit more that we have to work with staff on. That was my first concern, because we obviously don't want to have problems there with
Parking?
all sorts of things, correct, yeah. So we do need to do a little more work in that regard. But I mean, the good thing for you guys is I-1, we have to, any conditions we have to live with. So there's a lot more work on that part of the project. But I think regardless, it has to come in at some point to Joliet. And I think the uses are appropriate, but certainly I-1 is the lightest it could ever come in.
Okay. All right, any other questions, comments from the commissioners? No one? Do we have a motion for these A-10-22?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Did you call if there was anybody in attendance that wanted to speak on this?
Well, they already spoke. Is there anybody new that wants to speak on this? New, that already didn't speak? I didn't see anybody new come in.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Perez,
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich,
Aye.
Mr. Cox, Mr. Crompton,
No.
Mr. Heath,
Aye.
Mr. Kella,
Aye.
Mr. Dillon.
You're gonna work with management on this, huh? With the planning staff?
No, absolutely. The project needs more work. So I would be shocked if that's how it ended up.
So you think it may change?
I think there'll be more changes the city would like to see.
Okay. I wish you guys had it done ahead of time. I'll go no. I wish you guys had it done ahead of time, but I understand.
5-2. 5-2, so this would go to city council, second meeting in December, again, the 19th and 20th. That will go with the special use permit with recommendations for approval. Under new business, case number M222, residential parking permit request for 800 block of Cora Street. Under general information, the applicant Georgine Williams. Status of the applicant is she's acting as the agent of certain Cora Street property owners. The requested action is the approval of the residential parking permit program for the 800 block of Cora Street. Purpose is to enable greater parking availability for residents who live on the 800 block of Cora Street. Location, again, is 800 block of Cora Street, and this is in between Ruby Street to the south there, and it goes to Ross Street on the north. The street length is 630 linear feet. Number of residential properties on this block are 24. The existing zoning of properties is B3 general business, R3 1 and 2 family residential, and R2 single family residential. Under surrounding land use and zoning, Ruby Street Commercial Corridor runs along the southern boundary of this area. Properties along this area of this corridor are Zone B3 General Business and are commercial in use. The surrounding properties to the north, east, and west are Zone Residential and are residential in use. Under site history, we have none. Special information, there are 24 residential properties along the 800 block of Cora Street, including 3 2-units and 1 3-unit. The petitioner, acting on behalf of certain residents who live along the 800 block of Cora Street, seeks the implementation of a parking permit program for residential properties along this street. Primary motivation for the request is unavailability of parking during peak business hours of the grocery store located at the northwest corner of Ruby and Cora Streets. All 24 properties have either alley access and/or driveway access to their properties. An alley runs north-south on either side of the 800 block of Cora Street. On-street parking is not allowed on the east side of Cora Street. Petitioner has submitted signatures of addresses on the 800 block of Cora Street who desire the implementation of a residential parking permit program, and the signature pages are attached. To obtain a residential parking permit, residents must renew their permit annually by filling out a permit information form that identifies their name, address, and vehicle information for each vehicle at the address that requires a parking permit. There's no permit fee for renewing. In addition, there is no limit on the amount of stickers that can be issued per address. Permits for the residential parking permit program are administered by the Community Development Department. Residential parking permit program is enforced by the Joliet Police Department, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jen. Do we have the actual petitioner on hand that's representing everybody?
Do you want to come up to the podium, Georgine?
We've already sworn you in, so do you have anything further you would like to add?
Just that we're very frustrated with Cora Street. It's been very sedate, and we tried to work with the owner. We're getting nowhere. We're getting nowhere with the little garage. I don't understand. He has 2 bays and 3 cars in each, and then all the cars are put up on Cora Street. Like I said, we've sent pictures of them pushing cars down and also driving cars off of Cora. My people are frustrated because winter's coming again, and if you leave your house, you're not going to get a parking space. You're going to have to ride around. And it's busy up there with Holy Cross Church. So we think it's a major safety issue. If you came up there, you cannot turn off of Cora Street onto Ruby, because there's cars parked there and delivery trucks. We tried to get them to do something with the delivery trucks, put them in the alley where they were delivered before. It's a 4-way alley. I don't know what more to do. We've tried everything. And it just seems like we're not getting anywhere. But safety-wise, I have a lot of young families up there with kids running around, and I don't want to have another incident like I did with my nephew. Or somebody killed on Ruby Street, because that's going to happen. When they're trying to get off on Ruby, you can't see to get out there. They won't comply with the no parking signs or the white lines that I had put up there, yellow line down the street. Met down here at City Hall with the owner and that. I just don't know what more to do for the safety of my residents.
Thank you, ma'am. Do any of the commissioners have comments or questions about any of this?
I do, sir.
You got one? Go ahead.
There's no parking, is it on the east side or the west side of the street?
On the east side,
There's no parking,
no parking,
but they're always,
always full, always full. That was done years ago, and because they were afraid of the kids playing out there. And if you walk out on that street between cars on both sides, you don't see something coming. So I have a lot of young families that have moved up there now, and for their sake and for my kids, we're trying to keep it safe. Those streets are not real wide up there. And there's houses close together, too many people. We can't limit how many cars you can have for one family.
whether this passes or doesn't pass, I think we should make sure that the no parking starts to get enforced at least.
I gotta say to you, because from over 30 years of experience, and I plowed that street. The street's only 26 feet wide, max. Your plow could be anywhere from 10.6 to 12.6. The car doesn't park exactly on top of that curb. I don't know how many times you get stopped and you can't go through because the cars, they park on both sides of the street. I know you guys like a permit. I don't know what the council would do, but I don't think that's gonna solve your problem or fix your problem. Actually, I think if it was a complete ban on parking, you may not like that either for everybody, and then a $100 fine if you did park. Money talks. These trucks, no ambulance is gonna get through. And I applaud these, you can't get through. One of these pictures had the two trucks, forget it. If there is an emergency, you're not getting through because people will park on both sides of the street.
How are you suggesting that the police are gonna come up and take care of this? I've been reprimanded, I've had 2 complaints, told that these are people buying food for their family,
Who'd you get reprimanded by?
the police department,
For what?
because I called. Okay, they don't think, they are upset because this was let go. Well, we had nothing to do with it. We weren't informed that they were putting a supermarket down there. It was just put in. We had nothing to say about it. We don't want to see the accident happen. And I'm telling you, I've been down there directing traffic. It's not pretty on the weekends and that. A lot of times the police don't have anybody to send up there.
Yeah, ma'am, I've done that job too. I mean, it's not there are a lot of problems in the city. And I understand the police officer's frustration going, this is not a high priority.
I know.
And half the time the people are gone, so you can't do nothing. And if you give you a ticket, it's a $5 ticket, I get
30.
$5, I don't care.
30,
If the ticket's 100, 500, guess what? One ticket, 500, I'll never do it again. I understand, but making a set parking is not gonna fix the overall problem. If anything, banning all the parking, then you guys wouldn't be happy either. You'd have to park in the driveways.
there are no driveways. There's very few driveways on that street.
Yeah, most of them go off the alleyway to get their, and park, but nobody wants to go in the alleyway and park in the garage off that way either anymore.
Some of them don't have garages. Now, what, do you think a cul-de-sac up there would help? What do you think?
To change the street to a cul-de-sac at the end, where you're talking about by the church end maybe?
No, on Ruby Street. I'm not gonna try to do something to the church. It's
Oh,
was
at the other
founded
one,
in
you block off the street
1901.
down at Ruby Street.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you can get the city to agree to it, I could see that happening. 'Cause
No,
you know,
it's-
but the city's got to agree to that. You have to petition the city for that. And you say it's gonna be easy, because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
When they do that. You've seen where they've done that. I think they've done that over there by,
the
Hey, so-
College of St. Francis got
College's
there.
Range have done it.
Okay, they did on Rainer Avenue for those apartments up there.
On Rayner, they've done it over there on Plainfield Road by the A&W. They've done it in some of the, yeah. But now you're reconfiguring the street a little bit. It might help get the city to agree to it. I'm surprised nobody had suggested that to you from the city.
Well, they have. But we were trying to go away with if we can at least have parking for our residents on the street so they can park. Maybe they would enforce that. I don't know.
Mr. Chairman,
Like I said,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Jim could help me. Is this allowed in any other parts of the city?
We
Is
used
there,
to do
permit
them.
parking like this?
Yes.
It is allowed.
You know, and for a time, they were popular around University of St. Francis, because people would have problems with students parking in front of their houses.
True.
So similar situation like this. It tends to push the problem just farther away. I think in this case, it could help with those that are parking there longer term than just those run-in situations that are doing stuff illegally anyway. So somebody that parks in front of these residences and leave them there for the whole day or 2 days, it will eliminate some of that and might open up some more parking for them. But whether it helps with those short-termers that
We
are
have the
doing things illegal.
employees from the store parking on there.
Sure you
We
do.
have the people from the garage.
I can see that.
So it would
Okay,
eliminate,
so-
it would eliminate that situation, because they could, if they're parking there long-term, the police could get there, ticket them, and if need be, you know,
But
call.
people are gonna park on both sides of that street, no matter what, and some of these, you can see, the ambulance, fire trucks are not gonna make it down. I've done a plow, sometimes you could not get down, and just let it go. Oh, well. It doesn't always work, just to have a permit system. And then
I
getting the
do
officers
return.
to, you're sitting an officer, with his salary, just have him sit on that street and walk up and down the street. That's unrealistic to write tickets. That's unrealistic. Cul-de-sac may be the better route to go, if we can get that city to do that. So, any other
In the
questions or
meantime, I
comments?
would
Mr.
ask for the permit.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I do agree with you that I don't think that this is gonna be a long-term permanent solution. But in the interim, in regards to the issues of safety and everything else, I would make a motion to accept the proposal for permit parking. It would, keep the people a little happier, I think, in the maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but at least they'll have their say and try.
Second.
We're trying, okay, we're trying. I've tried, I've been down here 3 years, I've been to the store, I've tried to come to solutions, and I'm just ignored. Now,
Sorry, was
it
there-
is a bad safety issue.
okay.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, there's a motion and there's a second.
Second.
Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Wunderlich,
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Heath?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
I'm just gonna go no, because I don't think it'll fix it. I do like the cul-de-sac concept though, and if you can get the city to do that.
Well,
But this
you'll
may-
have to work on 3 years on that one too, it's taken me all this time
It'll
to
take
get
about
here.
2 years at least before they turn around, because it costs money to change all that stuff around.
I know. But I'm an RN, I've taken care of people for 55 years, and I'm very safety cautious, and I do not like to see accidents or someone hurt.
By the way, you said the parking ticket was how much?
30, they told me,
30?
yeah. I mean, you could be real rich down there on Cora Street.
Okay.
So anyway, this will go to city council, December 19th and 20th, with a recommendation for approval, so.
Thank you all
Thanks.
very much.
Thank you.
Next order of business is old new business, not for final action or recommendation. We have none. Under next order of business is public comments. This section is for anyone that would like to speak on non-agenda items. Allowed to speak for 4 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to speak on non-agenda items? Seeing none, the next order of business would be adjournment.
Motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There you go. Don't you love banging on there, don't you?